Red Bull Racing accused McLaren of employing a clever trick with their tires, a tactic that might offer a performance advantage by manipulating how their tires handle heat. And it wasn't long before the story grabbed the attention of the racing world and the FIA itself. At the heart of the accusation is the claim that McLaren might be adding water to their tires. Now, in the grueling environment of F1, tire management is critical. Every team works relentlessly to keep their tires within the optimal temperature range. Too hot, and they degrade quickly. Too cool, and they lose grip. The ability to manage these temperatures more effectively can significantly boost a car's performance, particularly in races where conditions are constantly changing. But what's so suspicious about water? Well, if McLaren were truly using water within their tire setups, it would act as a thermal stabilizer. Water has unique thermal properties, helping it maintain steady temperatures. In theory, this would give McLaren a substantial edge in keeping their tires within that sweet spot of performance. And in a sport where mere tenths of a second can determine victory or defeat, any advantage, no matter how small, matters. When Red Bull brought this claim forward, it wasn't just dismissed as gossip. They took the matter directly to the FIA, sparking an official investigation. The FIA is now looking into McLaren's tire and rim configurations to see if there's any merit to the accusation. This investigation might involve analyzing how McLaren manages humidity within their tire systems, as well as examining whether there's any structural adaptation that could permit the introduction of water. It's worth noting that the FIA enforces stringent rules around tires. Any tampering that would alter the basic integrity or chemical composition of the tires is typically prohibited. So if McLaren found a way to cleverly add water while somehow remaining within regulatory boundaries, it would raise questions about possible loopholes within current rules. Naturally, the reaction among team principals was one of curiosity, skepticism, and caution. When Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, was asked about the matter after the Brazilian Grand Prix, he gave a short but telling response. No comment. Horner's unwillingness to elaborate is interesting. It suggests that either Red Bull has some basis for their claim or, at the very least, believes that keeping this rumor alive could add pressure on their rivals. On the other side, Ferrari's Frederic Vasseur offered a more detailed response, expressing doubts about the plausibility of McLaren's alleged tactic. Vasseur remarked that he finds the theory hard to understand, emphasizing that most teams aim to remove moisture from their tire setups, not add it. Vasseur's comments are especially interesting because they come from a man who, as the head of Ferrari, has considerable insight into high-level F1 engineering. If he's skeptical, it hints that this alleged method might not be as straightforward or even as possible as it initially sounds. Still, the fact that Red Bull raised the issue publicly suggests that they see McLaren's recent performance gains as potentially suspicious. It's no secret that McLaren has been pushing hard to catch up with the top teams, and they've made remarkable strides in recent races. Red Bull's accusation might stem from frustration over McLaren's sudden competitiveness, especially if they believe that advantage came from an unconventional and perhaps controversial source. The FIA investigation that follows will likely be thorough. If the organization finds no evidence of wrongdoing, McLaren will walk away with a clean slate, albeit with their rivals looking over their shoulder. However, if any tampering or clever modification is discovered, it would likely lead to penalties and potentially even revisions to existing tire regulations. This could force the FIA to tighten its rulebook, potentially stifling creative engineering solutions that currently exist in a gray area. But let's take a step back. Could there be a legitimate reason for McLaren's progress that has nothing to do with water in tires? It's quite possible. McLaren has invested heavily in advancing their car's aerodynamics and suspension, areas where small improvements can translate into major gains on the track. Additionally, the team has been refining its approach to data analytics, using simulations to understand track conditions and adjust their strategy in real time. One key aspect of this controversy lies in F1's emphasis on innovation within a strict regulatory framework. Engineers are constantly on the lookout for new ways to get an edge, often pushing the boundaries of what's allowed. This approach has led to some of the sport's most iconic developments, from the six-wheeled cars of the 1970s to the introduction of ground effect aerodynamics. Red Bull, like any top team, is well aware of the lengths engineers will go to find performance gains, which might be why they're scrutinizing McLaren's methods so closely. This accusation also highlights the intense rivalry within F1, where psychological games often play as much a role as technical innovation. By raising suspicions about McLaren's methods, Red Bull may be hoping to shift some focus away from their own team's dominance. They've been the team to beat for much of the season, and competitors are constantly looking for ways to close the gap. Casting doubt on a rival's integrity can be an effective tactic, especially in a sport where perception can sometimes be as influential as reality. Now, let's consider McLaren's perspective. If they've genuinely found a way to optimize tire performance without bending any rules, they'll feel justified in defending their innovation. Accusations like these, if unfounded, could be seen as an attempt to undermine the team's credibility and distract them from further progress. However, if there's even a small kernel of truth in Red Bull's claim, McLaren may find themselves under intense scrutiny, both from officials and the media. Whether or not any evidence is found, the implications of this investigation could resonate throughout the F1 community. For other teams, this serves as a reminder that even the smallest advancements can come under suspicion, especially if they lead to noticeable improvements on the track. This could lead to increased vigilance from the FIA as they work to ensure that all teams play within the boundaries of fair competition. Moreover, fans of the sport are also left wondering if there's more going on behind the scenes than what's visible on race day. This kind of rumor adds intrigue and a hint of drama, feeding into the narrative that F1 isn't just about raw speed, but also about strategy, intellect, and, sometimes, bending the rules without breaking them. In the end, whether McLaren's impressive form this season is due to sheer engineering prowess or something more unconventional remains to be seen. This ongoing investigation has the potential to reshape how teams approach tire technology, depending on what the FIA uncovers. The world of Formula One is one where performance is constantly being scrutinized, and even the faintest whisper of a competitive edge is enough to spark debate. In the days following the São Paulo Grand Prix, speculation has only intensified. Fans and analysts alike are dissecting every potential outcome. If the FIA finds McLaren innocent, it would be a major relief for the team, but could leave Red Bull facing questions about whether they were trying to disrupt a rising competitor. It's no secret that McLaren has rapidly closed the performance gap this season, and accusations like these could be viewed as Red Bull's attempt to defend its position as the frontrunner. Yet, if the investigation reveals even a small infraction, it could open a Pandora's box for the FIA. Punishing McLaren could lead to a cascade of scrutiny, with other teams facing renewed inspections as well. The governing body might then feel compelled to tighten regulations around tire management, potentially creating more rigid guidelines that restrict innovation in one of F1's most crucial components. This could set a precedent, with teams becoming cautious about any technique that skirts the edge of legality. Regardless of the investigation's outcome, the fact that Red Bull brought this issue to light shows how high tensions have risen among the top teams. The constant push to maintain competitive advantage has made F1 a fierce battleground where psychological tactics are as important as mechanical prowess. For now, fans are left in suspense, waiting for answers. Whether McLaren's methods were purely ingenious or slightly over the line, this latest controversy is a reminder of how thrilling, complex, and sometimes contentious the world of Formula One can be. As fans, all we can do is watch, wait, and see how this story unfolds. Will McLaren's alleged tire trick prove to be an unfounded rumor, or could it reveal a daring attempt at pushing the boundaries of F1 technology? And if it does turn out to be the latter, what will the FIA's response mean for the future of innovation in the sport? For now, the ball is in the FIA's court, and all eyes are on their investigation. Whether this saga ends with a clear conclusion or remains another unsolved mystery in F1, one thing is certain. In this sport, nothing stays hidden for long. If you're as hooked on the thrill of Formula One as I am, make sure to subscribe and join me for more insights, epic moments, and the stories that keep the racing world buzzing. Don't miss out.